Does your Scratch game need speed, health, ammo, or points? I'll show you how to do it with variables. Variables are an essential programming concept in any programming language, but also in Scratch. As soon as you have a value that needs to change throughout the game, such as the player's name, the character's health, the speed of an object, or just the high score, you're going to need variables. Fortunately, they're easy to understand. Let's go. Okay, variables, one of the most important programming concepts in any language, and that includes Scratch. Let's start by finding where it is in the Scratch interface. If we come up to data, we'll see that we have a button here that says create a variable. The box pops up and we give it a name. It's very important to make this name as simple as possible so you can understand what it is that you're making. I'm going to make my first example called points. After we've made a variable, we'll have 5 different options that show up for it. We use these inside our code just like any other programming block. Let's start with the most basic of examples. I'm going to come to events and say when this sprite clicked, and then back to our data and say change points by 1. The other thing we probably want to do is under events, tell it that when the game starts to set our points to 0, which resets it. The next thing we're going to do is set up a way for our points to go downwards. If we switch to the stage and then come back to events, we should have one that says when the stage is clicked. We're going to come to our data and change our points instead of by +1, but this time by -1. Basically, we've set up the most basic of situations where every time we click the cat, we get a point, and every time we miss and click the stage, we lose a point. Let's switch back to the cat and then hit the green flag. Instantly, our points are set to 0, and we'll test it now. If we miss on the backdrop, you can see the number is getting smaller, and if we click on the cat, the number is getting higher. So this is the simplest of examples. Let's look at something a little bit more complicated and much more relevant. In this situation, we followed the exact same instructions as in my keyboard command video. So what we have is assigned left and right arrows inside forever ifs, and that turns the car plus and minus 5 degrees. We've told it when we hit the up arrow, we want the car to move forward 5 steps, and when we hit the down arrow, we want it to reverse. The trouble is that this is not very realistic at all. I don't know of a single car that as you press the accelerator reaches maximum speed and as soon as you let go, stops instantly. To make this much more realistic so the car actually has some momentum, we're going to introduce a variable. Let's come to data and make a variable, and in this one we're going to call it speed. As before, the first thing we need to do is to tell it when the green flag is clicked to reset the speed to 0. The next thing we're going to do is to come to control and drag out a forever script. This time we're going to come to motion and we're going to tell it to move 10 steps, except we're not going to move 10 steps. We're going to move however fast our variable tells us to. So let's come to data and drag out this one floating at the top. You'll notice it's got round edges so we know it's going to fit in here. Let's hit the green flag and see how it works. We can see our speed is set to 0, and when we press up and down, everything works exactly the way that it did before. So what's the problem? We've told it to move speed steps, but speed is still set to 0. Therefore, our old keyboard commands are still doing all of the work. To fix this, we're going to get rid of the move 5 steps and move -5 steps from inside our commands, and instead get the change speed by 1, and then a second one of these which we're going to set to -1. Let's hit the green flag to start this again. Now when we press the up arrow, our car accelerates to 2, and even though I'm no longer pressing the keyboard, the car continues to roll. If I press the down arrow a few times, it puts it at -7, and even though I'm no longer pressing the keyboard, once again, the car continues to travel at -7 because we've told it to forever move however many steps speed is set to. This makes for a far more realistic feature because the car can accelerate and decelerate. If I go from full reverse to full speed, you'll notice it takes a little bit of time before it slows down and then changes direction. We can make this much more realistic because a real car will slowly coast to a halt even if we're not pressing the accelerator. Let's do that next. We're going to get a set speed to 0 and we're going to put it after our move speed steps. Then we're going to come to our operators tab and we're going to get out the division block. We're almost there, only 2 more things to go. The first is from data, we're going to get another speed. And then the second one we're going to type in, and we're going to start experimenting with 2. This tells it every time it moves forward to then halve the speed. I have a feeling this is going to make it very hard for the car to accelerate, but we'll test it and see how it goes. So I have to hold down the key to maintain a speed of 1, but when I let go, the car stops. Let's try a much smaller and gentler number for this. Now I can hit a speed of around -2, and when I let go, the car takes a little bit longer to slow down. Therefore, we know we need this number to be a lot smaller. So let's try 1.1. Okay, this is more like it. We can see as soon as I let go of the key, the car slowly coasts to a halt. By putting in this script here, it also imposes an artificial top speed of the car. I can hold up for as long as I want, but you'll notice the speed is capped at about 9.9. The speed at which your car reaches will be dictated by how much you get it to decelerate, as well as the rate of acceleration and deceleration in your keyboard scripts. Let's make this number even smaller by putting in a 0 in the front. Let's test this one out. Oh dear, the car is accelerating far too fast. You can see the number is going up and up and up, and it's impossible to control. So I know this number is far, far, far too small. Let's try for a compromise. When we hit the green flag, the speed should reset to 0. Okay, this seems pretty good. The car goes fast, but not too fast. Top speed of about 16. And when I let go, the car rolls to a gradual halt. That feels really good. I think I'm happy with that. You'll notice it did take a long time for it to hit 0, but as long as it's traveling a very small number, it won't really move across many pixels. I think we can still improve this by adding added drag when we run into the grass. I've painted a very rudimentary background here. We're going to upgrade this script so the car slows down even more when it's not on the white track. To do so, we're going to go to Control and get an if then else. We're going to drag out our set speed and put the if then else in its place. We're going to duplicate this and put one copy on the top and one copy on the bottom. Now we're going to come to sensing, and we're going to use color detection. If we drag this out, we'll see it has pointy edges, so we know it fits. Then we click on the color and then click on our part of the stage where we want the car to slow down. Now we've created a situation where we can get the car to slow down different amounts depending on whether it's touching green, the grass, or in free air. We know that a bigger number here will slow down the car more, so let's up this to something like 1.5 and then test the script. Okay, you'll notice the car goes smoothly if I stay off the green, but if I run a little bit wide, all of a sudden my speed is greatly halted and it stops my progress. This is a great way in your racing game to stop people from cheating and cutting corners. You might have noticed so far that every time we go to make a variable, we're presented with 2 options. So far we've done the default for all sprites. Let's have a look at an example where we need to do for this sprite only. Let's say we want to make our car a 2-player game. Let's right click to duplicate our car and then change the keyboard keys so they don't clash. Okay, so we've changed the keyboard keys to WSAD for player 2, and then we've also changed the color so we can tell them apart. Let's start the game and see what happens. At the moment I'm just going to use the normal keyboard keys so I can control one car. I notice the steering works fine, but now when I accelerate, both cars seem to move forward. When I hit the back key, both cars go backwards. We can test this for player 2 also, where the steering keys work, but forwards and backwards moves both cars. That's because the speed variable we created near the start was made for all sprites, which means they can all access it. In our very first example for the points, we want the stage, different characters and different sprites to be able to add and remove points depending on the gameplay. But for something like this, we absolutely don't want our variables to mix with each other because we want to be able to control our sprites independently. Unfortunately, if you've already created your game like this, the only thing to do is to make a second variable. This time I'm going to go for this sprite only. I'm going to call it speed2. It doesn't take too long to update our variables because most of them have a drop down where we can quickly change it to speed 2. For the other ones, we can right click and select another variable from the list. Let's test this again. Player 1 controls. The car can drive by itself. Player 2 controls. The car can also drive by itself. By having a variable that's not available to all sprites, we can have independent character control, and in certain situations, that's really important. You might have noticed too that it adds the sprite name to the front of the variable on this little heads up display here, so we know that it's associated with only that. If we switch back to car bug number 1, you'll notice speed 2 disappears because it's tied only to car bug 2. The last thing you need to know about variables is that you can show and hide them whenever you want by using these commands here. Sometimes you want them hidden at the start of a game, but then to show up during gameplay, only to hide for the screens afterwards. Any variable that's showed on screen can also be right-clicked, and you can have 3 different options. By default it's a normal one, but you can also change it to large, which loses the text. You can also change it to a slider, which may be useful on certain games. Hopefully you found my guide useful for your Scratch project. Stay tuned for much more in Scratch, including recreating popular games. Thanks for watching. G'day, it's Michael again. If you liked the video, then please click like. If you want to see more content like this in future, click subscribe and make sure you click on the bell to receive every notification. If you really want to support the channel and see exclusive content, become a patron. Visit my Patreon page. See you next time.